Welcome back to Turn the Antenna, everybody. Today, I'm going to be breaking down Season 2's Episode 3 of Interview with the Vampire. So this episode opens up with Daniel trying to organize a timeline of not just the vampire's story, but of his personal life since initially meeting Louis in San Francisco. Sitting at a sushi bar along with Daniel is an intelligence agent by the name of Reid James. He introduces himself to Daniel and starts speaking about the Great Conversion. He knows a lot about Louis and Armand, it seems, and he warns Daniel about all of the other, historians or writers who have attempted to write the history of the vampires, which resulted in their death. He tells Daniel that he wants to work with him. I'm pretty sure that Daniel has enough common sense to discern that this is a horrible idea. These people, these beings, can get into your mind and manipulate your memories. They can fly. They have the power to control fire. They've been around for such a long time. Do you think that they don't have security measures in place to monitor what you're doing on that laptop? Armand has already spoken to him about how we're so easily distracted, how we're always on our cell phones. I'm pretty sure he has measures in place that would circumvent any type of breach of security. After the conversation with Reid, Daniel returns to the penthouse and has a one-on-one with Armand about the origins of the Théâtre des Vampires, as well as his romantic relationship with Lestat. During his retelling of events, it's revealed that Lestat's maker Magnus had once belonged to Armand's coven. Armand falls upon Lestat, and we give audience to the first iteration of the Vampire Theater's feeding play. When approached, Lestat is not interested in joining or following the rules of any coven, so Armand shows him his power and kidnaps Nikki, who is Armand's lover that we heard about last season. Lestat finds the coven and walks in like a G. Let's talk about the resurgence of Lestat every single time. He was locked away in Magnus's lair after he was turned. He suffered and he escaped that. And when he escaped that, he became this famous theater actor in Paris, right? Then you've got Armand kidnapping his lover, rendering him weak. Then all of a sudden, he surfaces at the coven with this cross on his back like a G once again. Like he's always coming back bigger and better. When Lestat comes back from wherever he's at right now, when he reemerges, I definitely think it's going to be epic, for sure. So Lestat gives a speech about belief and freedom, etc. to the coven, and he takes Nikki, leaves. The coven members follow him. Apparently, his words are a reflection of the thoughts that Armand was having about coven life, about vampiric life. I'm kind of like confused at coven loyalty, right? The group members. It's like they just got up and then they followed Lestat. There was no conversation that was had with Armand. I understand that he's maître in all of these different things, and there is a sort of hierarchy. I get the hierarchy. I get the level of respect and power, but there's supposed to also be a bond. I know that the bond is not as strong as the maker's bond, right? But they just got up and they followed Lestat. There was no word to Armand in terms of, hey, are you going to come with us? Or do you think this is right? Like there was no counsel. They don't seem like a cohesive group. It just seems as though every man is for himself, but we're here because of protection. That's it. That's the impression that I have of the ancient coven. The retelling of Lestat and Armand's relationship moves along, and we see that after the coven members left Armand, time went by and Lestat revisits Armand Now I'm going to be straight up with you guys. I don't think that Lestat had any romantic feelings for Armand. I just don't see it. I said it before and I'm going to say it again. Armand is beautiful and he has all of these powers. He's wise, etc. But I don't see Lestat wanting him for more than learning those powers that he displayed that night when he kidnapped Nikki. That's it. But how did Armand not pick up on any of the physical cues that Lestat was lying to him about being in love with him? Just simply on the flippant way that he said it. Yes, I love you too. What? We all know that is not Lestat. When Lestat loves you, run. That's the type of love that he has. You better run because it's intense, it's consuming, it's over the top, it's overwhelming, it's overbearing. Come on, man. Come on. So once we've gotten the origin story of the Théâtre des Vampires and Armand and Lestat's brief interaction, the story moves along in the late 1940s and we see Armand and Louis' love story start to develop. Armand joins Louis on nightly walks around Paris. Louis confesses his interest in Armand, even though Lestat remains ever present in his mind and his heart. He expressed to Armand that he has no desire to join the coven. Rather, he prefers to spend the future living with the simple pleasures and freedoms of their new home. Let's talk about Louis and Claudia practicing a script about their origin and their maker. How is it that we're just doing this? How are we just having this conversation? I would think the moment you land in Paris and you decided that this was going to be a long-term stay, that you would have that conversation. Just in case you bumped into any vampires. Why don't we have our story straight? Why is it that we have to make up our origin story on the spot in a den of vampires? And even after the fact, we still didn't have a conversation when we got home. We have to wait until Claudia actually has a job in the vampire den, in the vampire pit, before we decide that we need a rock solid story. Come on, man. Louis and Claudia really could have done better in this regard. There's an envy of Louis' freedom outside of the coven. Louis broke several rules/laws, and so Santiago wants him dead. And Santiago's bitterness is exposed when he said, "You killed my maker for less." It shows that he is still hurt about his maker being disposed of, right? I really want to get an understanding of this character, Santiago. I want to know his backstory badly. Claudia is clearly starstruck by Santiago, but man, is she a terrible liar. I thought that Louis wore his emotions and thoughts on his face, but Claudia, girl, you gotta do better. Seriously. So later on that night, she tells Louis of the trauma that she suffered at the hands of Bruce. We did not know that she was with him for a whole entire week and that he brutalized her for the entire time. It sounds like her childhood and the aforementioned experience with Bruce might be the reason why she desperately seeks the attention and village warmth, I would say, of the coven. She needs to be a part of the group. And she gets what she wants. She is sworn in by the coven and agrees to abide by the 5 vampiric laws. The 5 vampiric laws. Law number 1. Each coven must have a leader, and only he might order the working of the dark trick upon a mortal. Law number 2. The dark gifts must never be given to the cripple, maimed, or to children. Law number 3. No vampire must commit to writing the history of the vampires. Law number 4. No vampire shall ever reveal his or her true nature to a mortal and let the mortal live. Law number 5. No vampire may ever destroy another vampire except the coven master, who has the power of life and death over all his flock. And it is his obligation to seek the destruction of all those who have broken these 5 laws.
Molly, you in danger, girl.
Claudia. Jeez, girl, if they find out, you are gone. I think she knows the consequences if she is revealed. But at this point, it seems as though she doesn't care. So Claudia accepts all of the laws and is given a role in the play. Unfortunately, it is the exact opposite role that she had hoped for. She realizes that even among her own flock, she is regarded as a child, an unfortunate result of the breaking of a sacred law. We pan to Armand and Louis in what looks like the underground of Paris. And Armand decides not to get rid of Louis, but rather he accepts Louis' invitation as a potential future companion. That is it for episode 3 of season 2. Thank you guys so much for subscribing. Thank you guys so much for commenting. And I will speak to you all in a few days.